Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Leo full moon. Welcome. So I usually go live earlier, so it's a little bit later in the day. And this is all about following your heart. This is all about having the bravery and having the courage to be who you really are and who you really came here to be. And so, all right, let me start here. I don't want to start super gloom and doom, and feel free to ask any questions. I'll try to keep looking up. Like I said, I'm filming this later than I usually do, so the gang is probably not going to be. Oh, here's someone though. Hey, Raymond Miller. Hey, welcome. And I kind of feel like this is a little bit of not like a spooky full moon, but it has a lot of secret esoteric power, and I'll explain why in a second. Oh, hey, there are people here. There's Joseph, there's Jeb, there's Arya Moon. Hi. Yeah, it is late tonight. Late night Natalie, I guess. So, oh, hi. Okay. Hi, Tammy Johnson. Hey, welcome everybody. Oh, okay. All right, so let me start with that one part first. So in December of this year, December 2021, Venus is going to go retrograde. And she's going to hit this 25 degrees of Capricorn with Pluto again. And that is exactly where she is right now at this full moon. She's in this really tight conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn. So that tells us a couple of different things. The first thing that it tells us is that in December of 2021, we're going to be looking back at this week in particular. These next 2 weeks, whatever's going on in our lives at the end of January, going into February 2021, and we're going to feel a very strong way about it. We're either going to feel really uplifted and really happy and really proud that we followed our dreams, that we followed those hearts, that we said those things, and that we just put ourselves out there like that we advocated for what our heart really wants, that we spoke truth to power, that we took our power back, and everything else that I'm going to explain. Phew, yeah, we did it. And now we're sitting pretty in December 2021, and we're in a really great place. And, if only I hadn't, if I had done something a little bit differently, or if I didn't do this in January, early February, oh man, this would be such a different place. Like, where would I be? Or you're going to find yourself in December 2021. And you're going to think back to the end of January, beginning of February 2021, and you're going to think to yourself, why didn't I do it? Or why did I do that? Why did I do it? Why didn't I do it? Why did I say it? Why didn't I say it? It's going to be something like that. And that'll be different for all of us, but it'll have to do with your personal, unique self-expression of what's inside of yourself, what's in your heart, and your joy, and your, what makes you feel alive, what you really care about. And are you able to advocate and protect and nurture and take care of what you love? Can you handle that responsibility? When did I think that might have been the new moon in Capricorn, where I talked about loving your responsibility, loving love taking care of what we love. So those responsibilities don't feel like these heavy burdens. They don't feel like, pushing ourselves to do it. That's resentment's going to build up. And then all of a sudden you're taking your beautiful little precious for granted because you resent the upkeep or the maintenance, or you're the worst kind. You're high maintenance, but she thinks she's low maintenance. Got sidetracked. But at the end in December, you're going to look back and it's going to be like a huge drop. Like right now, remember when I told you guys in, I think August, summer 2020, about the Mars retrograde for the last 6 months of December? Whoever's throwing that first strike is going to be really upset that they didn't come January. Whoever's being the first person to be very aggressive in that Aries area of your life once once everything clears out, once Mars moves into Taurus, this is another important part of that synodic cycle as well. Actually, that began January 6th. So I'm doing the best that oh my goodness, hi. I didn't, honestly, guys, I didn't expect people to, oh, hi everybody. Hey, Valerie, Nicole, Mega Blue, Bad Girl, Gone One Goddess, Chris is here. Oh, hey everybody, welcome. Aw, Thursday night, getting jiggy with it. So I'm doing the best that I can to help prepare you guys for celebration now and in December, and steer you away from regret, steer you away from despair, steer you away from like those dark nights of the soul that we can avoid, that we cannot all help it, you know. And here's another thing too with this Leo full moon is that, first of all, nothing will ever be the same after this week. Whatever's going on this week is so fated and destined. This is deep, permanent changes. Oh, sorry, Venus and Pluto. So that's one thing about Venus and Pluto is that this December, she's in a retrograde and she's going to go through a whole cycle. She's going to go through all the 12 zodiac signs and come back into Capricorn, because she's in Capricorn right now. She's going to come back into Capricorn. And she's going to have the benefit of the Venus retrograde in the spring of 2020, when everyone's like, you know, she has the benefit of going through all of this with Pluto and then going through all the 12 zodiac signs for the rest of the year and then coming back to this point. So if you play your cards right now, this whole Venus cycle for you can be abundance and rewards and growth and learning upon learning and enjoying in a really, really full way what you're able to move forward on. Or it's going to be like, okay, I had to touch the stove 42 times. Someone next to me had to touch the stove 51 times before we get it, before we get that lesson. So no judgments. We all learn in our own timelines, in our own personal destinies. You guys always hear me say that I would rather understand than judge. And some things I was born knowing that other people take 40, 50 years to learn. There's things that I'm still going to be learning the rest of my life that other people learn really intuitively and really instantly. That just takes me a little bit longer. So we're all in different ways and different things. So that's one thing. That's the most important thing about it. And I think I'm stressing that the first thing out of the gate because I'm a Capricorn, and Capricorns have this knack, this like something inside of us, like where we can use time almost like magically, like practical magic, but using time so that, for instance, that you're sitting pretty in December when I'm talking to you about it in January, using it on for your benefit. Okay, so I love my chair. Okay, sorry. So that's one thing about what's going on right now. Another thing about what's going on right now is with Venus and Pluto is that whenever Pluto is like this with a planet, especially on a full moon, there is deep, permanent changes to the nature of that planet. Venus, love, money, romance, value. So our values, our value systems, how we give and receive love, what we care about, what really makes us feel like we belong, like we're valued, like we value who and what we're around, is going through deep, permanent, never going to happen. We're never going to, you can't unknow something. Once you see it, you saw it. Once you know it, you know it, you know? So that's another part. Now, Pluto, in order to do this, in order to get to that goody part, you have to sort through your own psychological, psychic, emotional, swampy sewageness. So Pluto Venus can be bringing things up inside of you and in the people around you, such as jealousy, resentments, maybe vanity, or just really obsessive, trying to control partners. So feminines, be really careful. There could definitely be something violent done to like feminines because of like an obsession. So like stalker energy, stuff like that. There can also be something going on with extremely powerful feminines right now because of this Venus Pluto. which leads me to the last thing about this Venus Pluto is that this full moon, I know I've been talking about Venus Pluto in Capricorn, it's full moon in Leo. So this full moon in Leo, okay, this full moon is in Leo, and it opposes, because that's what makes a full moon, the sun in Aquarius. Now, what's going on with the sun right now is that the sun is conjunct Jupiter, Kazimi. That just means that they're really, really, really close. They're like minutes away. They're in the same degree and then just like minutes away. That's called Kazimi, which means that that planet's in the heart of the sun. Now, we also have Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius, but this right here is what's like endlessly super, super duper fascinating, because the moon is in the sign of the sun. The sun is in the sign of Uranus. Uranus is actually, I'm getting there. There's so much to talk about with this full moon. But the fact that we have this little stellium in Aquarius is all about people. It's about getting along. It's about harmony. And this full moon in Leo is about like my vision, my self-expression, the individual, unique, you know. So the whole axis with Leo and Aquarius is, how do I take my vision? How do I take my creative channeling? And how do I make that valuable for the masses? How do I make that valuable for the people? How do I make that good for humanity? How is what I do, what I contribute creatively and artistically going to benefit other people? This opposition is natural. That's what creates a full moon. Well, the special thing about this, and I'm going to bring it back, we're going to bring it back home to that Venus and Capricorn, is that the sun with, oh my gosh, we also have Mercury here. Excuse me. Mercury's here. I thought that was Jupiter this entire time, but we have Mercury. That's right. Mercury, Saturn, Jupiter, and the sun all in Aquarius, facing off against not little, but like the full moon and Leo. They're both T-squaring, making 90-degree aspects to Uranus and Mars in Taurus. It looks like that. Okay. That's called the T-square. This is an immense buildup of pressure. I talked about this in the first day of the month in January. I talked about two different T-squares, one being January 7th and the other being January 28th. So this is basically taking all of that, the sun, Jupiter, Mercury, like all of these two that are going, and it's funneling it all into this Taurian area of your life. Now, because of this makes Uranus and Mars like the apex, the whole, like all the energy is going down on this part of your life. And this is actually the delivery method. The delivery into your life is going to be fast. It's going to be shocking. It's going to be different, unique. There could be something aggressive about it. There could be something martial, like marshaling your energies, or links. Sorry. It's like singing links 2, 3, 4. It's like this German song. So bringing it back to Venus, the ruler of the apex planet is Venus, because it's in Taurus, which leads us back to Venus being conjunct Pluto and Capricorn. Everything that's like coming full force in your life is secretly like the machinations of some Venus, Pluto, and Capricorn element in your life. And I'm going to talk about that after this, and the Patreon, and do all 12 sign breakdowns. I'm going to talk about the delivery, which is Mars and Uranus and Taurus. I'm going to talk about the future, which is the Aquarius area of your life. That's what's been really active in your life, is this Aquarian area. And so with this Leo full moon, Leo's like, hey, express yourself. You know, Leo's like trying to get your attention over here, but it's being prompted. It's being like just brought to the surface because of this huge pressing wild card, which is the Uranian influence, which is the Martian influence. I know. Okay, so the future is the Aquarian area of your life, and then Venus, Pluto is the secret sauce. That is what is like truly driving everything. So here's the thing. Here's the tricky part, is that if you if we are all operating self-aware, knowing ourselves, well enough to know if we're acting compulsively, if we know that we're obsessed about something, if we know that we're taking something way too seriously, or if we're able to just like purge and meditate all that out and recenter and realign, will all determine what moves forward from here. And it'll all determine the rest of it. And yes, it is still very karmic. And remember, on the Capricorn new moon, I talked a lot about compulsion. I talked a lot about can we control ourselves? Like, how well can we control ourselves? So here again is that same theme here. And in this case, it's relationships, it's value, it's love. It's if you're not able to purge your psychological, karmic, ancestral, emotional hangups about love and your heart nature, what your heart desires, your own personal self-expression, your not only just your values and how you define your values, but how you define your worth. This is a full moon where you have a fantastic opportunity to see and reflect on where you've been giving your power away so that you can take that back. Okay? Yeah, I know. I want you to do it. I want you to just use it. I just want you to just run with this. Okay, so that's what this Pluto Venus is going to do. That's what's like going to be operating in the background. So the action, so this Iranian Martian influence is going to be us. We're going to be the agents of chaos and change in other people's lives and in these other situations. Or we will be having to respond to things happening in our lives that are just moving really fast, or that are just changing on a moment's notice, or that are just like the things that we just have to deal with in the moment. That's the delivery. Now, all of this is happening in fixed signs, so nothing is going to want to really change. Nothing really wants to break up. These are very stubborn energies. But this Leo full moon is just like begging for attention. This is high drama, high, so it's like to expect people to be really overreacting, because there's this, wherever this Leo full moon is in your chart is where the overreaction is going to be. So everyone's going to have a very strong reaction, a very strong sensation for the positive, for the negative. Like, you really like this, or you really don't like this, or, you're really pulled and drawn to something, or you're totally repulsed and like totally turned off by something. So what I want to say about this Leo full moon is that there's a lot of pressure, yes, building up. We do have a really nice connection between Neptune and Venus and Pluto. So you really can transform into a higher echelon of how even you give and receive love if you can lean into this energy. If you can stay open and flexible and be willing to, this is what I say. I like to say, I take your point and I change my position. I like to say, I'll consider that. I like to say, well, my prior is that I think XYZ, but I haven't gotten all the data I need to form my opinion. So my prior, which is like, this came up in Gemini's weekly reading over on Patreon. The prior is just kind of what I'm thinking before I form my official opinion and before I get all the data that I need, because I still need more information. I still need more intel. So my prior is this. So I make it very clear that to everyone, like this, I'm not married to this thought. I'm not married to this idea. I'm not married to, because anyway, so that's something to consider, because with Neptune and softening boundaries, you're going to be able to like take this situation or take this energy and toggle it up or toggle it down. And you get to move within that band of frequency. So look at where the high drama is in your life, and how are you going to use that to create the future for yourself? Because all this Aquarian energy is going to set up the next 20 years, if not more. It's going to set up the next, it's going to bring us into the total, I'm telling you guys, we're going to be feeling like the Jetsons pretty soon. Okay, give me a second here. Okay. I'm going to say something now. So I'm going to say something else. So, all right. So the reactions that everyone's going to be having, not just to this piece of hair, but like to your own life. This is like, even if it's, whether it's negative and scary and alarming, or whether it's really, really positive, there's going to be really strong reactions. So obviously, if something just like totally blows up and you have to scramble and like put out a lot of fires, that's going to have a reaction. That's going to have you feeling a certain way about all that stuff. Let's talk about if things go really, really well, because in my Instagram story, I hinted about like something coming back, like a spark coming back from the past. And what I was cryptically referring to in that story was Mercury, because Mercury is like literally right about to go retrograde. What that means, Mercury goes retrograde 3 to 4 times a year. It's not that big a deal. What that means, though, is that we have this opportunity to go back to the past and make gains on it, to make something even better, to improve. So if you're married and you could use this Mercury retrograde to go back to a situation that needs to kind of really be resolved, that you maybe haven't been talking about it. You can use it to rediscover, something that you both like to do together, or something that worked really well before. For either or, for you can go back to something that worked really, really well before and reintegrate that. You can go back to something that needs to be worked on, that isn't working really well, that needs to be improved upon, and you can workshop and you can and then get it up and running. The same thing applies to business. The same thing applies to ideas and creativity, creative projects. I have a little like file cabinet of Mercury retrograde projects that I only work on during Mercury retrograde, because it's really great energy to go back and make something even better. Because if you're going to put something out there that's from your heart, that's of you, that you did, yeah, this is what I say. You got to load it up, load it up, load it up. You want it to be the very best. You want to put your soul into it and say, this is who I am. This is what I have to say. This is what I think. This is what I feel. I mean, that's extremely creative. If you're writing, but even if you're writing like a manual for work or something, it does not have to just be a flim flam manual. It should be the best thing that you can do. It has to have, if it has your name on it, your stamp on it, it's still from you. It's still something you made. I remember working very low paying jobs and retail and sweeping and really hard labor and all that stuff. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to cut any corners with this. Even if I'm pushing a broom across the floor, I always worked as if my grandfather were watching me, like over in the corner. And I could never do less than 110% just for that, just because, oh my God, I can't let him down. I can't let that down. I can't fail that. I can't. No, just no. That's like not even like in the realm of possibility for me. So Leo rules that commitment from the heart. Leo rules the actual heart. It rules courage and bravery. And Aquarius and Leo are across from each other on the zodiac, and they both have to do with individuality. They both have to do with that unique expression. So if you're not doing something that is really of you, that is really your essence, that your heart is really in, this is going to be a very difficult time for you. You're going to feel, if that's the case, you're probably in an unhealthy power dynamic because of this Venus-Pluto. So really take a look at your life and see where you're giving your power away, because you're going to give your power away to do something good for your heart to that. And that's what you will regret in December 2021, that you gave your power away at the end of January because your heart was pulling you towards something and you slapped it down, you gave your power away, and then by December, you're going to be left with like nothing. You're going to wish that you You're going to have that perspective where you wish that you had advocated for your heart now. Okay? I know this is intense stuff. I know. You have to be courageous. You have to just go for it. You just do. Well, that's what Leo does. Leo and the fire signs, actually, they just infuse us with courage and bravery and faith. There's like a faith element to it too. Also, what's interesting, there's really no fire in this chart. And that's why I feel like this T-square had to be here, is to give that impetus, to give that big rah, you know, to like move forward and, you know, and like push that. Because the only other thing that's happening is this Leo full moon is trining Chiron in Aries. So there's this healing. There's this open wound, right? Chiron is wounded healer. It is where we'll never feel healed. The Chiron is where we will never feel healed. There's a reason for that. I know I trigger people when I say that, but the only way to move through that energy that's always painful is to help other people with that problem, to help other people with that pain. That's the only way that's the only way out. That's the only way forward through that specific pain. Every single one of us has that in our charts. Right now, Chiron is moving through the skies in Aries. So right now there's a collective wound, a collective awkwardness about being real leaders of our lives and being real pioneers for our lives, and feeling empowered and feeling like we can do something on our own, that we can do something alone. There's like an awkwardness or a shame, or there's an instability and insecurity. It could be the whole world that's making people feel insecure. It could be personal relationships, family, what have you. But this full moon trining that is telling us that if we channel our pain into creative self-expression, into being wonderful parents to our children, because Leo does rule children. It rules children, fertility. It's the children of the mind, children of the body, children of the heart. So if we channel that pain into something creative, into something positive, into something beautiful, we in effect heal ourselves that much more. And we gain that much more wisdom, and we gain that much more karma points for our karma piggy banks. That's an opportunity here at this full moon. So keep notebooks nearby. I have like a zillion of these little yellow ones, these big yellow ones. Okay, back to Mercury, and then I'm going to say what I've been trying to say for like 25 minutes. Okay, so Mercury, okay, so I made that clue in my Instagram story, and that's because Mercury is about to station retrograde. And when Mercury retrogrades, yes, what everyone says about Mercury retrograding, technology, communication, make sure that you're being extra specific, all that stuff, but it's karmic. Mercury retrograde is karmic, just like every retrograde is karmic. So this is where I get that. There's something coming in from the past. There's something coming up that you're going to move forward. You get a second chance. And this is why I'm titling this about like your heart's, what did I call this? Hold on. The heart gets what it wants. That's why I'm calling this video, The Heart Gets What It Wants. You just have to be brave enough to receive it. You just have to be brave enough to accept it. Because let me tell you something. When your inability to receive, for whatever reason, your inability to receive creates rejection. Yes, your inability to receive creates rejection. So if you're getting rejected, if you are, and not to say that this is like a boilerplate end all be all, I'm talking about the positive of this manifestation. If something really great comes out of this for you guys over the next 2 weeks, or it's a little bit longer, it's like it's over months, but right now, like if something comes through for you, number one, it's karmic, it's fated, it's destined. And number two, It's because you've been doing the work with this Venus Pluto and the new moon in Capricorn a couple of weeks ago, overcoming your psychological, karmic, emotional, ancestral hangups, and you've been alchemizing them. And when I say alchemize, I mean transform. I'm just tired of hearing the word transform, 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 transform. So I say alchemize. So if something good comes through for you, you might get a little neurotic, or you might overreact a little bit because you're like, oh my God, this is actually really good. You may have felt like, oh, it's never going to be good. You may have felt like, oh, I have to live with something dark the rest of my life, or I have to be alone the rest of my life, or I'm never going to be able to do this for the rest of my life, or I'll never be able to have that in my entire life. Something's opening up now. The window, the portal, the second chance, the opportunity is coming through. You just have to be brave enough to go for it. That's it. That's it. You just have to be brave enough to move on it. And what's going to fire you up with that is this Leo full moon. This Leo full moon is like a little, it's like if I were trying to record, like talk to you and record this reading, and there's like a little toddler running around, how undivided attention could I give you if I had this little, that's this Leo full moon. It's like screaming from your heart, like, love me, and then, hey, just really get your attention. There's going to be something that's coming up. And it's going to be it's going to be different for every single one of us. I go through that on the Patreon afterwards. But let me tell you something about that. If that's the case for you, if some windfall comes through for you or something wonderful happens, it's because you've conquered this self-love thing, this self-love stuff with this Venus Pluto. So how does one get there? How does one get to the point where, if someone gives you a compliment and you self-deprecate and you put yourself down, you're rejecting that good karma. You're rejecting that gift. You're rejecting something really nice. So you're not really able to receive that. You're not really able to receive something nice and something good. So the light codes that are being downloaded to us right now are really kind of incredible. Sorry. I'm sorry. You guys know me and I have to like crack my bones. I'm getting the Syrian Stargate. So August 2020, this full moon is the corresponding full moon to what began August 2020 at the corresponding Leo new moon. So your heart's been like going on this little trip down in the woods, and now is the fruition of that. So what have you been learning about value? Not just what you value, but how you value yourself. Because you could also, you can reject great things that come into your life. You can just pass up great opportunities. You can, everyone can do that. This is a time that I hope I'm catching you where you're able to overcome insecurities, jealousies, fears. Pluto is like the lord of the underworld, and that's pretty freaky for people if they're not regularly dealing with that kind of stuff. So this can manifest in your own energy, and if you're not ready for this, if you haven't been doing the work, you will be pushing away great things because everyone will be overreacting, and it'll be hard for you to accept anything good trying to come in. So there's this self-sabotage type of element because the delivery, this Uranus and this Mars, that's so uncontrollable. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like start laughing, but I have my moon and my Mercury in Aquarius, and I'm just always shocking like people with like what I say, and it's like I can't help it. I don't know. I try so hard, like in the real world, like not here in my world, which is where we all are right now, but like in the real world, it's like I try to be so like normal and like threatening or non-triggering. But no, I do. I trigger people. I just happen to act as a catalyst for change in other people's lives, whether I try to or not. So it's a really great thing that we're all here together. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that I want you to know that whatever your heart is screaming about at this Leo full moon, to feed it. Feed what it wants. Give your heart what it wants. Give your heart justice. Because self-love has to be that loud. Self-love, self-value, self-appreciation. You have to scream it. It has to be like this big, brightly burning bonfire that you're just like, it has to be really consuming. It has to be really loud and proud. It has to be boisterous, like this Leo full. You have to do the Madonna, the J-Lo, who else is a Leo pop star? I think those are the only two I know. But you have to be that way so that, not like everyone's got to go act like a Leo for the next 2 weeks, but I'm just saying that you want your love for yourself to be that strong. So if anyone's making fun of you or guilting you or being like, ooh, Natalie, ooh, she's having her matcha, la 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 la. Fancy. I love Auntie Donna. But, or whatever, ignore them. First of all, it's stupid. It's really petty to be upset about that. But don't let something like that affect your self-love or your yoga or whatever it is, like your spa dates, if you're a dude and you get manicures, so what? So what? That's what it takes for you to feel like 110%. That's what it takes. Because I'm telling you right now, it can't be any other way, because once you minimize that and once you try to like fit yourself into like, oh, I don't need, then that's like a door cracking open for like a narcissistic type personality or someone just jealous of you, a family member, a friend. That's like the way in, that they get their foot in the door and they just blow it wide open and they exploit your fears. They exploit the worst parts of yourself and they use it against you. They manipulate you. It's like this, it spirals, low self-confidence, low self-esteem, low self-worth. It just spirals into these horrible, horrible, freaking evil snowballs. That's why the self-love thing, it has to be loud so that when anything just kind of seems like it's going to be a problem for you, you push it away. It has to be like a brute force, freaking like, boom. Don't worry about like other people's feelings. These people that are like, don't worry about all that. Make sure that it's conveyed to everyone in your life that your number one priority is your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health, your health, period, bottom line. That's what I love about Leos. Leos go a little, obviously we've seen like all the parodies of Leos going overboard with their self-love and just thinking that, but like everyone needs like a little bit of that self-respect, like dignity and to just say like, no, this isn't good enough for me. I want someone that's going to be nice to me. I want whatever it is, like whatever it is that you want. You're like, no, I don't want that. I don't want milk toast. I want to like put that on a shirt. I don't want milk toast. I want flavor. Ooh, okay. That's going on in your life right now. And the delivery, the way it's coming through, this apex energy, this Taurus area of your life, that's what's uncontrollable. And if listen, Mars and Taurus, that's like, I want to eat good food. I want pasta. I made homemade pizza today with 5 cheese, green olives. Oh my God. Like, it's like, we want good food. We want good drinks. We want good sex. We want better sex, better food, better stuff, better comforts, warmer blankets. Like, that's what Mars and Taurus is wanting right now. So we're all kind of like that. But it's also that Iranian influence. It's like you get an urge out of nowhere. You're just turned on, or you're like, oh my God, I want that burger, So whatever the impulse is, just know that it's being fueled Yes, by the full moon. Yes, by the sun, Mercury, Jupiter. But the secret controller, the real godfather freaking holding the strings is the Venus Pluto. So I'm telling you guys, if our instincts, if our compulsions are going to get the better of us, that's what we're seeing. And that's what we're feeling, is that part getting the better of us. Now, back to the Kazimi though, with Jupiter and the sun. I think I said it in my weekly earlier this week that this Jupiter Sun conjunction, they call it like the luckiest day of the year. This can be fortune. This can absolutely be something abundant falling into your lap, but it can also be wisdom. And that's how I've been channeling this energy on this full moon. This full moon is happening in my second house and in my eighth house I'm a Cancer rising and I'm a Capricorn sun. I'm an Aquarian moon. So for me personally, I've been channeling that energy into wisdom. And I have been looking at my whole life where I've ever given my power away. And I want you to do the same, because you can come out of this so much more empowered and wiser and stronger. And with this Kazimi, it's like, it should just be, there's something like a celebration. This is like a party that you could, like, some of you are going to be celebrating milestones. You're going to be celebrating victories. You're going to be celebrating new jobs, new homes, new relationships, new creative projects, or the return of, this is like the return. And Jupiter is like very lucky. This is like a very lucky, auspicious time to move forward on an opportunity that you thought was lost, that was important, that is important to your heart. So check in with yourself, check in with what you love, check in with what's important to you, because this is your second chance. And if you thought you felt a lot of regret for messing it up or not getting on the thing, or you perceive that you lost it the first time, December is when you're going to feel even worse, because you're going to see it even more clearly, that now is the second chance for this thing. With Jupiter here, it's like an immense blessing of whatever this can be, whatever you want to use this energy to move forward on, whether this is, a business idea that you had thought about before, or whether this was, for relationships, it would actually, if you already have some kind of context with this person, you may be able to go back and make this a little bit better. Watch your judgment. It'll really depend on where you are personally in your own self-awareness. Like, do you know that you have compulsive, something or whatnot? Or if you can have that good perception in what's going on in you personally, and your partner does, and they're pretty self-aware, and you're together, and you're, then you can probably make some really great headway here. There will be some things that come up. There will be some things brought to light. Mercury is actually going to dig up some stuff and meet the sun and everything. But all in all, this Jupiter with this Jupiter Kazimi, the sun, is really, really uplifting, and it can be really beautiful. Really, 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 really. Okay. One last little thing. It's this sun Jupiter can also bring disillusionment. So if you had been watching your heart, like if you've been watching where your progress has been since August 2020 until now, and you're not as happy with what you find, or you feel like you made a lot of mistakes, or you didn't learn from your mistakes, or you didn't grow, or something, at the very least, that should be clear now. You should be able to see exactly what you really should have done differently, or wanted to do differently, or it should be very clear to you over this lunation. And then that's what you have. So, like, stand up on it and move forward and say, okay, be grateful that you can see what it was now, because that's the worst, is being really confused and lost. Oh, that's right, I forgot to talk about Neptune. So another thing going on with this is Neptune in Pisces squaring the nodes. And this is really interesting. Squaring the north node, our destinies, where we're trying to go, squaring the south node, our karma, our history, our past, our ancestral toxic stuff. And so this also speaks to a huge pivot. I mean, really, your life can go into a whole different direction. This is like jumping timelines. And I want it to be because you're following your heart. That's the only way Natalie, Natalee, will approve of this, because it's like this Neptune square, that's part of this disillusionment where you can, well, what's going to happen is people are going to get this Neptune square, and the Neptune energy is really, it's, Neptune rules like fog, but also glamour, also like the modeling industry. Neptune is about projections and fantasies and illusions and spirituality and creativity and imagination. That's why it rules modeling, because you need to be able to project something onto that person. It needs to be easy for you to imagine certain things with this person. It should be easy for you to just see yourself right next to them or whatever. So that's Neptune. So Neptune, in a very harsh aspect to the nodes, is saying a couple different things. One, like the mask, the illusion is ripped off. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Oh my God, it was the innkeeper all along energy. Or it's like, it's freaking like spiritual creative inspiration, and you're just like really following your hearts and switching from something else you were disillusioned about, and then you really get aligned, and you really get pulled into what your heart is driving forward for you. I think that's everything. Did I get everything? I think I did. Chiron. Okay, so basically Saturn sets the agenda. Saturn's going to firm all of this up and give it legs, give it structure. This is really, really powerful. This is really, I just want you guys to, I just want to emphasize that, and so that you guys can use it. The very kernel of this is your unique self-expression. The kernel of this, the heart of this, is your own heart. So follow your heart, listen to your heart. Take time out of your day to listen to your heart. I can't imagine it not being extremely clear, but if it's not, do everything you can to just clear the decks. Look at anything that's blowing up, going wrong. Really be honest with yourself and follow the chains, follow the paths, and be honest with yourself and asking, what is your responsibility? What were your compulsions? Are you going into someone else's phone? We don't advocate that. That's like breaking boundaries, but that's a very Pluto Venus thing. Someone's in the bathroom, you go, their passcode, you get in their phone, you read a bunch of stuff, you put it back, and then you think you got away with it. No. You're the one being locked in. If you're feeling that kind of a feeling, or that's just one Pluto Venus example, but if you feel that kind of, that's a compulsive, that's like you can't help yourself, and that's definitely something to look at. Definitely something and follow the trails back, because you can overcome this stuff and you can really move forward, and you can use the drama of this Leo full moon in a way that propels you towards healing, in a way that propels you towards really getting, true justice for your heart, true justice for yourself. That's what I do here. It's about love, truth, and integrity, because those are the things that free our souls. And it just really upsets me that there's so many lost souls that are manipulated into acting against their own best interests. And at the end of the day, there's no one to blame. There's not evil to blame. There's not good to blame, because we have free will. So I hope that this inspires you to use your free will, to set your own soul free, to set your own heart free, and that you value yourself enough to accept and receive good things, and to want good things for yourself, that you enjoy taking care of yourself, that you enjoy boundaries, that you fall in love with your own life, that you love your responsibilities, that you love protecting your heart, that you love protecting and nurturing what's important to you. That's the good life to me. That's what I want for everybody. When I talk about it, I just see the society. I just see the society of people that are all like that. And it's so pretty. It's so nice. All right. I think I said everything I want. I have a lot of psychic downloads about this. That's why I'm really excited to get into the tarot over on Patreon. I do all 12 signs. Power away, disillusion, disappointment. And remember that there's a dual output input thing happening here. A lot of good things can happen fast. So you're also going to be the one channeling energy. You're also going to be the one, like I said, acting as a catalyst for change in other people's lives. So try to take it easy on them. Try to take it easy. All right, let's see what's going on over here. Any questions? I've been trying to kind of look out for the little question marks. Oh, you make me want to cry, Natalie. I have Aquarius, Moon, Venus, North Node, Mercury. Oh my God, Kitty Mesme TV. We both have Aquarian moons. I love you guys. I've also been transferring stuff on my phone over to my laptop, over to my hard drive. I don't use cloud storage. I should do a whole separate tech video where I talk about like stuff, but that's another thing. Back up everything for Mercury retrograde. I'm telling you, this Mercury retrograde. Oh, that's right. That's what I wanted to talk about. Okay, a little bit more. I want to move forward a little bit and talk about what you can expect in the couple of days ahead, like over this weekend. So, today Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow, the moon in Leo opposes its Mercury in Aquarius, and that Leo moon at 28 degrees will trine. It'll move into a trine, applying to a trine in Taurus. So that's really like expect unexpected communication. Expect something to come out of the blue. It's still this Leo full moon energy, so it's still going to be like, you know. So comment below in the video tomorrow for those of you watching the replay and let us know what that happened to be. Saturday is when Mercury stations retrograde in Aquarius. That's also when the moon, now in Virgo, the moon will ingress in Virgo, will trine both Uranus in Taurus and Mars in Taurus. That's really nice. So now the moon is going to be like pulsing these moonbeams as it gets smaller and smaller and disappears into what will be the new moon for next month. And then so there's more shocks. Like you're going to be feeling, there can be like the return of feelings because Mercury is stationing retrograde, but because of this trine, there can be like a happy feeling, like a happy surprise, a happy, this could be like the recoup, like you got something that you thought was lost and you're like, that feels nice. Sunday is interesting. That's when Mercury goes invisible. We have the moon now trining Venus, Mars, and Pluto, and the moon opposing Neptune. This is a crazy weekend. Whatever is going on this weekend, it's like, it has this karmic destiny energy to it. So get excited. It's going to be crazy. What else is going on? Oh, and then on Sunday, moving into Monday, Venus. This is the big thing. So this is all happening. Venus with Pluto and Capricorn is controlling this entire lunation, all this crazy big energy. And that's why I'm saying, like, if we have the people that have not overcome those issues, they're going to be acting super compulsively. So be nice to them and just, you know, when they have their spaz outs, just let them get it out, you know, but don't be the one to lose your cool no matter what. Remain self-possessed. But it's like the later degrees of Capricorn. So on Monday, she ingresses into Aquarius. This is like really kind of like super sexy energy. But Sunday moving into Monday, Venus conjuncts Pluto, conjuncts Saturn, she's moving into these she's moving away from her conjunction to Pluto. It's already burned up, and now she's moving and applying in her conjunction to Saturn and in her square to Uranus. That was weird. I'm weird. But then she goes into Aquarius, February 1st. That's also the day that the sun squares Mars in Taurus. This is all about value. All of these fixed signs, the reason why they're so fixed, and when I say fixed, it means like no one wants to move. No one wants to budge. It's like I think what I think, and that's what I think. This is how things should be. It's very, very stuck. It's because how do I put this? They're so fixed. They're so locked into, and I'm talking about Taurus. I'm talking about Leo. I'm talking about Aquarius. Who's the other one? Hold on. Gemini, Libra. Oh, Scorpio. Duh. All those fixed signs, they're so fixed and immovable because they know what they value. They know what they want. That's another thing with Venus, Pluto, and Capricorn. It's like, I know what I want. I know what I like. I want that. I know what I want you. I know what I like them. I know what I really like, and I know what I really don't want. That's what I want. That's not what I want. It's like I want what I want. It's especially with this Mars and Taurus. So these fixed signs are so fixed because they feel very strongly about what they value. Scorpio, a Scorpio's bottom line is about truth and honesty and what it's not going to change about integrity. It's not going to change. You're not going to change a Scorpio's mind. You're not going to change an Aquarius's mind. You're not going to change a Taurus's mind. So the fact that all this is happening in those fixed signs, it's like everyone's values, like your values they're either there and you're getting like rewards, or you're still working it out. And don't feel bad if you miss this wave or you miss this, whatever. We're all exactly where we're supposed to be when we're all on time. We're all with the people we're supposed to be with, or single, whatever. And just trust in your life. Have faith in your life that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Because you are. Okay? Now your guys are all saying Scorpio. Okay. So so back to Monday. So Monday, the sun squaring Mars from Aquarius to Taurus. That's a clash in values. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Oh my gosh, that went by so fast. 56 on the clock. I'm going to show you, I'll tell you in the Patreon where that is, where the power crunch is, because that's like, you want to do something. Oh my God, my battery. I don't have my thing plugged in. Sorry. That's like if you want to, get another job and you want to work more, but people at home miss you and they want you to be home. So there's like that conflict between work or creativity and like the home life or your family life. Someone's getting upset. And they're like, oh, don't you love being home with me? And you're like, but I love to be in my lab and make things. And your family's like, but I want you to be home with, whatever it is, that's what it's going to be. So expect, like I said, the surprise communication Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to Monday is a huge energy shift as well. So expect the nature to change, the love nature, because Venus in Capricorn is very different from Venus, a little different than Venus in Aquarius. Venus in Aquarius is very detached and very much rooted and based in friendship and integrity and philosophizing and idealistic notions. So if you're trying to get to know anybody, get to them through their minds, the sapiosexual connection. And that will be your best bet moving forward Monday. So anyone that wants to capitalize on the last waning days of this Venus-Pluto, you may do so over this weekend ahead. With that, I bid you all adieu. I'm so surprised that people showed up tonight. That's cool. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I love being in the clouds. You guys are so fun. All right. I love you. I'm going to head over to Patreon and do these, it's always like spilling tea. I always feel like I'm really, really, really getting so specific in people's lives when I do this sign by sign, but I'm really like into it. So I love you guys. Have a great Thursday evening. Look forward to this weekend. Think about everything that I've said. And remember what I said about really rah about your self-love and your self-value and your self-worth, and really respect that in other people. Respect other people's creativity, other people's input, other people's ideas, other people's, whoever they are. Show that respect and like as you respect yourself. So I love you guys, and I will talk to you next time. Lots of beautiful, beautiful blessings on all of your beautiful heads, darlings. Mwah, 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 mwah.